He wanted to see change, and he was willing to back people who could deliver that.
It wasn't about him. It was about the impact.
RJ was probably the best entrepreneur, peer partner that we've ever had.
We were on vacation in Denmark, and my father brought to me this article in the Forbes magazine about Bill Drayton and Ashoka.
James came to us and expressed an interest in Ashoka's work.
I remember we being my mother and father, we met Bill. I had them to meet Bill for the first time in New York City.
We hadn't even gotten into the soup before RJ asked these amazing couple of questions.
RJ was used to sizing up companies, sizing up organizations, and he had a sense of real gut instinct for where there was real promise.
They did not want to launch in North America until they had all the money raised up front, which I believe at that time was a 4 or 5 year budget for $20 million, and that there was a European philanthropist who had helped Ashoka in South America and some other regions around the world, and we came to learn that he was in for $5 million out of that $20 million. But the question that he raised was, well, where are the Americans?
Like an entrepreneur, he and James both made a decision, literally that day.
I called up Bill and said, well, Bill, we're in.
And that's kind of the way stuff went. There wasn't ever a lot of long discussions. We decided on something, did it, and that was it.
Through Ashoka, he was able to, in fact, find some of the very best people, people he could talk to as equals and ask the same sort of tough questions he would of any business entrepreneurs.
How sustainable is it? What have you thought about around growth? And what are your outcomes, and so on and so forth. And what I thought was going to be a friendly breakfast session at Ashoka turned into a pretty intense set of conversations.
One of my father's gifts was the ability to spot potential.
RJ called one day and I got on the phone and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, we're dealing with this staffing thing. He's like, Jill, that's ridiculous. You're a salesperson. You should wake up every day and the first thing you should think was, what can I do to generate revenue for Sports for Kids?
At that point, College Summit was deciding whether we should ask school districts to pay real dollars for our work. And there were plenty of reasons not to do it. RJ's point was, you have to do what you really believe. And we believed that the school as a customer would push us in the right direction.
He understands the same tenets that I think we understand, which is that you have to build a vision, that you've got to have great people, that you've got to set them free to get things done and hold them accountable.
Before we met with RJ, we were working with 900 students. Today, College Summit is working with 25,000 students. And we never would have gotten to this point were it not for RJ and the tradition that GJ and the family have carried on.
He didn't go around wanting his name in gold, in projects that he supported. He truly found fulfillment and happiness in the impact happening.
Then one afternoon or after work, he came home and he dropped his suitcase by his office. He had an office in our home, and we met right at the kitchen door, and he said, what do you think about selling UICI? So maybe 2-3 seconds went by, and I said, I'd sell it. And he threw his arms around me and he said, we're on the same track. That's probably the happiest I seen him, because he did talk to me about how he would like to teach, or he was going to spend a lot more time in philanthropy.
The greatest gift anyone can have is the gift to be able to give in a significant way. And I think Ashoka helped him be able to make that gift to some of the best social entrepreneurs.
I think he would be excited that we're having the successes we're having, and that he'd be proud that we have acknowledged our own failures and really made an effort to learn from them, and not dissembled or in any way obfuscated that we have fallen, but that every time we've fallen, we've gotten back up and brushed ourselves off and kept going. I think he'd be really proud.
We provided the platform. You're the one that made it happen, and you should be proud of yourself.